Let's raise the big question. Has the true story of the Rajiv Gandhi assassination been told? What do the revelations of the likes of Padmanathan really show? Let's go to our panel today. D.R. Karthikeyan, former SIT chief who handled the Rajiv assassination case with us. N. Ram, editor-in-chief of The Hindu with us. Mani Shankar Iyer, senior member of parliament and a close aide of Rajiv Gandhi. And Subramanian Swamy, Janata Party leader and someone who also has detailed extensively on the Rajiv assassination case, all with us. First to you, Mr. Karthikeyan, as someone who headed that SIT, Mr. Padmanathan in this interview, the LTT leader to CNN IBN, clearly revealing that the LTT was not just behind the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, he also hints at a possible role of the DMK ideology inspiring the LTT. He also talks about how the top leadership, as I said, of the LTT was influenced by that ideology. Did you at any point of your investigations come across any possible link of the DMK ideology to the assassination plot?
See, many people in the country have been supporting LTTE at some time or the other. It is too well known to everyone in the world, not only in the country. And it is also known that Vaiko had a special relationship with LTTE and Prabhakaran, and he has always admitted it. He has been questioned a number of times. The involvement of so many parties, so many personalities have been alleged. But as far as we are concerned, we are investigating a crime. We need to have evidence of either the commission of the offence or the conspiracy, which can be proved in a court of law. That's quite possible. There are many people who are not happy with Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, may have been happy with the assassination. But then we can't charge sheet every one of them who have been happy or who had relationship with LTTE. The investigation, my investigation was about who killed Rajiv Gandhi, why, how, and all the conspiracy. Because somebody may have had relations with Prabhakaran or LTTE at some time or the other, you can't go on a fishing expedition, which would have totally destroyed the whole investigation and the trial also.
Okay, let me take that to N. Ram. N. Ram, you're hearing Padmanathan there in this interview to CNN IBN and firstpost.com. He is now an arrested leader. Do you believe that what he is saying essentially is it should not be taken seriously because at the end of the day he is now in the custody of the Sri Lankan government?
No, I think he was an important leader, and what he says is probably what he believes. But what I heard him say was that exactly what Mr. Karthikeyan and his team, it was a brilliant investigation by the CBI. That is exactly what they found. He has confirmed that Prabhakaran ordered the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, and I think, although he says everyone knew that, I think that's important confirmation on record that removes any shred of doubt that it was ordered by the Supremo of the LTT, and he's also, I think, Pottu Amman, who's not yet accounted for. They haven't found his body. I don't know if it's at large or he was killed and we don't know about it. I think he's still at large. So it is important confirmation of the investigation and the prosecution, the trial, the conviction.
The important question then from what Mr. N. Ram is saying, Mani Shankar Iyer, is should the government of India then be looking to extradite the likes of Padmanathan? Here they are in this interview to Media Grove and firstpost.com and CNN IBN suggesting that that as Mr. Ram said, Prabhakaran did order the killing of Rajiv Gandhi. Should someone like Padmanathan, now the Indian government, be pushing with Colombo to have him extradited to India?
I would certainly hope so.
And why do you believe that that's not happened? Do you believe that not enough has been done with the Sri Lankan government to try and get those who've been arrested, particularly post Prabhakaran's killing, who may have known the exact involvement of the LTT in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination, and bring them to, in some way, to extradite them and bring them to justice in this country?
You have just pointed out why that this is a revelation.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that we knew beforehand that this gentleman was as acquainted with what is happening as he now claims. It's also true that with his extremely uncertain English, all we have had is a curious allegation that because the DK had a movement against the Brahmins, that therefore this influenced Prabhakaran to kill Rajiv Gandhi because he was a Brahmin. Now I don't find any great logic in that, because as far as I know, the DMK has not killed any Brahmins, and in fact largely used Brahmins in order to advise them on what to do and what not to do. So I don't think what he has just said to us, as all of us have heard, amounts to a kind of evidence that you can prosecute in a court of law, but it certainly indicates that he is privy to certain events. And as far as I'm concerned, he has opened the avenue to investigating him further, rather than simply relying upon all that he has said so far.
Right.
That is why I think it would be useful to extradite him to India.
Subramanian Swamy, do you believe that Padmanathan is there, is someone therefore who knows much more than he's even revealed in that interview? As N. Ram says, he's confirming that Prabhakaran ordered the killing of Rajiv Gandhi, but that it goes well beyond that, the involvement of the LTT and possibly of some kind of support or knowledge that maybe even sympathizers of the LTT in this country had of the assassination?
Well, first of all, I think what Mr. Padmanabhan has said is something that all of us knew, that Prabhakaran ordered the killing of Rajiv Gandhi, except a few editors who thought it was Mossad and some crazy witnesses in the Jain Commission who thought the Americans were behind it, or Narasimha Rao was behind it. That kind of ridiculous theories were floated. But from day one it was clear, because I was minister at that time, and I'm surprised that in your background you talk about Mufti Muhammad Saeed telling Karunanidhi. It was Mufti Muhammad Saeed was encouraging the LTT. The whole BBC government was full of sympathy for the LTT. DMK was part of that. It's the Chandrasekhar government which dismissed it, and I was in charge of the operations. So I know exactly the extent of connection between the DMK and the LTT. The real question therefore is, he has to be asked some hard questions. He was an arms dealer. He had connections with arms dealers. He had gone all over the world for it. He had even gone to Afghanistan and had connections with the Al-Qaeda. These are the hard questions that should be asked of him. It's irrelevant today that whether he admits to Rajiv Gandhi being killed by Prabhakaran and then he sheds tears and asks for forgiveness. How can you forgive? Rajiv Gandhi was a monumental investment. We lost him for nothing.
Are you saying those tears?
Like
are you saying those tears are fake crocodile tears of someone? And this LTT, when the LTT says they regret Rajiv's killing, they say it was a mistake. Even Prabhakaran has said this in the past, that this absolutely has no meaning.
All terrorists are hardened criminals. If they shed tears, we can't believe it. We have to start with the premise that it's a fake tear. It's a crocodile tear. The fact of the matter is that they killed him in cold blood. For what? On the grounds, at least the stated grounds was that because he sent the IPKF to Sri Lanka. Rajiv Gandhi didn't send IPKF to Sri Lanka. It was the Indian Parliament which passed a resolution.
Right.
All of us supported it. So where is the question of holding him responsible for a government policy?
You know, there's the other issue which I want to take to N. Ram. You know, N. Ram, from time to time there's been a feeling that leaders in Tamil Nadu, whether it's Karunanidhi, whether it's other leaders like Vaiko, who were seen as, Vaiko particularly seen as close to the LTT, their sympathies with the LTT, should that have been looked into, probed into, and whether in some way they had knowledge possibly of what had happened, because no real report has, apart from the Milap Chand Jain report of the mid-1990s, really looked at the possible role of Indian political leaders from Tamil Nadu in Rajiv's assassination. KP in this interview seems to hint at it.
No, may I intervene?
No, Rajdeep. Fortunately, we had an excellent SIT headed by my friend Mr. Karthikeyan, and they really saved the day because any number of conspiracy theories were afloat, and I think the CBI focused on the evidence, got the people involved, and pinned the case and successfully prosecuted. So I don't think. I deplore those who supported the LTTE, notwithstanding the evidence, but to mix that up with complicity, a role in the assassination is something totally over the top. And I take Mr. Karthikeyan's word seriously. They looked at the evidence and they stuck to the evidence and did a successful prosecution. We really are grateful to that team.
Yeah, let me just take that, Mr. Ram, to Mr. Karthikeyan. Mr. Karthikeyan, in your view, has the full story of the Rajiv Gandhi assassination been told? Is there need at all for any further probe, any further investigation? Should these interviews of the likes of K. Padmanathan now coming out 20 years later be need for looking at some elements afresh?
No. Stories can go on. Wild stories can go on. See, what our as an investigator is to find out who killed, why they killed, how they killed, and we have to prove it through admissible evidence in a court of law. And beyond that, we have absolutely all in the sphere of speculation and in the realm of course, real politics, which people have been using it for some time or the other. Now it has come up again. Well, there will be one more, fishing expedition can go on to suit somebody's political purpose or the other. As far as we are concerned, we have said that's all the final, that has been approved by the Supreme Court of India also, and it has been applauded all over the world, all over the media.
Manishankar Iyer, do you believe that the full story of the Rajiv assassination has been told?
No. Mr. Karthikeyan said who, why, who, how and why. His investigation answered who and his investigation answered how.
Yes.
But the question of why goes very, very much deeper. Why did Prabhakaran take what was for him the suicidal step of having Rajiv Gandhi assassinated in Tamil Nadu? It immediately resulted in a sympathy tsunami, I don't call it a sympathy wave, that lasted for the better part of 20 years and had everybody in Tamil Nadu, including the DMK, distancing themselves. So the why still remains. What perversion in that man's mind, what perversion in the structure of the LTTE resulted in their believing that there would be any advantage to them whatsoever by planting a human bomb at the feet of this man.
Right.
The IPKF was not sent there to fight the LTTE. The IPKF was sent there as a protective wall between the Sinhala forces and the LTTE at a time when the Sinhala forces had to turn their attention to the revolt taking place in the southern part of the island. It was Prabhakaran who provoked the war with the IPKF.
Right.
And I have reason to believe that the IPKF was told that they should be extremely careful about not unnecessarily provoking the LTT by actually killing the man. They might have been able to do it at some stage.
Right.
At least that's what's rumored. So in these circumstances,
yes.
I think the why still requires investigation. The how they did it, I think we get to know, and who did it, I think we know.
And in that sense, is that the reason, Subramanian Swamy, that you too would favor the extradition of maybe Padmanathan and other LTT leaders who today are with the Sri Lankan government? Let them fully explain. We've got a hint perhaps in this interview, but let them fully explain just what led the why to Rajiv Gandhi's killing.
Well, first of all, let me say one thing which has been left out. Justice Verma, I had set up that committee to examine the security angle, whether there was a failure of security. He produced a first-class report which has been deeply buried. That should be taken out. and taken forward. Second, there is a multidisciplinary monitoring agency headed by the CBI, which was set up in 1998, which is still there. It is, I don't know what work they have done so far, but the fact of the matter is that the agency is there to investigate. Third is, why only Padmanabhan? There are so many others who are floating around in United States and in England and in Malaysia in particular. These people all have to be chased, but how can you be when you don't have the resolve? So, 4 people were ordered to be executed by the Supreme Court on May 12, 1991, May 12, 1999.
Yes.
Even today they have not been. One of them, in fact, was given, her capital punishment was converted to life imprisonment by the BJP government. Why? You talk about Afzal Guru, you talk about all this. Why is it nobody is talking about these 4 people whom the Supreme Court said should be hanged? If there's anybody who should be hanged, these 4 should be hanged. And we have not hanged them yet. There is something wrong somewhere. That is what needs to be investigated, the why, as Mani Shankar says.
Okay, fair enough. Subramanian Swamy, Mani Shankar Iyer, N. Ram and D.R. Karthikeyan, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully, what K. Padmanathan has revealed 20 years, remember 2 days after the 20th anniversary of Rajiv Gandhi's assassination, will force the investigative agencies to perhaps look at the why factor as to why really was Rajiv killed. But clearly affirmation coming from the LTT top leadership that Prabhakaran ordered Rajiv Gandhi's killing and that the DMK ideology may have inspired the LTT to hate Rajiv Gandhi is what is being suggested. So some embarrassment for the DMK there as well. Appreciate your joining us here at the top of India.